Okay, we have rates, which is lesson 1-1. We're moving back to the front of the book. We're going to cover the 6 lessons in chapter 1. There's 9. We're going to cover the first 6, which includes rates, ratios, proportions. We'll move into percentages next. And hopefully we're done with rate, so chapter 1 and 2 in the second quarter, which takes us up to the first of the year. That'd be our goal. When we talk about rates, a lot of times we don't even think we really use them, but when we talk about sports, we do. If you see LeBron's overall numbers for this year, he scored 1,698 points. But you don't know if that's good, bad. You really can't compare it. It's hard to compare when you see totals. He had 425 3 points attempted, 148 3 points made. But again, is that a lot? Is that not much? How's that stack up against the rest of the league? Well, here's what we do. We take his numbers here. I blew them up for you so you can see them a little better. And we stack them against the rate. This is a rate, a ratio. We're comparing for points, for instance, 25.3 points per game in one game. That makes more sense to us. We hear on ESPN when we watch the game, they tell us how many free throws he makes per game, possibly. He makes 9.6. How many three-pointers? Well, he makes 2.2 three-pointers a game. You can compare that against Harden. You compare it against when he plays or Clay, so forth. So now we can make comparisons more than total points, because total points means that we all have to play the same amount of games for that team to be equal, and they don't always play the same amount of games. So rates and ratios are used in real life. I want you to see for future times when we get to percentages, please note all the other numbers change. The games played don't change. There's a reason for that we'll talk about in a minute. But the percentages don't. Whether we have 643 out of 1,303 field goals made to attempted, the percent is 49.3. If we do it per game, it's still going to be 49.3. Percentages don't change as long as the rates stay equivalent. Then again, if you're doing this with me, I'd had you explain why or how the numbers change from one stat line to the other. I'll give you a second to think. I even pause. The reason that happens is we take the points and we divide by 67. We take the field goals made, 643, we divide by 67. That's how we get our per game rate. We know in 67 games, he scored 1,698 points. We want to know how much he scored in one game. So we have to divide by the total number of games. Okay, here's some notes for you. Ratio compares the quantities of two different things. So using what we're talking about there, the quantities. Now, when we have two different things, quantity is just another word for number. So we have 1,698 points over, and we're comparing that to 67 games. That would be the ratio. We write ratio in 3 different ways. Points to games with a colon, points to games with the word to, or points over games. Again, I can't use a fraction for slides, so I have to use a slash. That would be like a fraction there, points over games. For math purposes, we're going to use the bottom one, points over games. You might see the other two on tests. I think by 7th grade, they're pretty much done with those. That's more of a 3rd, 4th grade way to show you ratios. So we're pretty much going to be using a fraction form. And this will be the way if you actually put it one way you can see it. And again, we're using the bottom one for the most part. And then what I want you to do was take a calculator, Desmos.com, calculator online, however, and do 1,698 divided by 67. Come up with 25.3. Take a couple of the others just to make sure that nobody's lying to you. 148 divided by 67. You come up with 2.2. So you'll see how you come up with those unit. It's called a unit rate because unit means one. So we're going to see how much he made per game. That's a unit rate, which gets us into the actual lesson. Okay, we're back to the lesson. Example 1, Adrian biked 24 miles in 4 hours. So we're going to turn that ratio into a fraction form. We can abbreviate MI for miles, H for hours. Next step is we're going to see what the bottom number, the denominator, is for. We want the bottom number denominator to be 1. That's how we're going to get our unit rate, with the denominator being 1. Any number divided by itself equals 1. So if we divide the denominator by 4 and get 1, we then have to divide the numerator by 4 as well. Because when we divide by 4 over 4, that will keep this 6 over 1 equivalent to 24 over 4. And we find out that Adrian went 6 miles in 1 hour. So then I want you to figure these two out. Again, pause. I'm going to keep on going. So pause, figure them out. And the answer would be $50 per hour, $50 in 1 hour, $50 per hour, and 27.5 miles for 1 gallon, or 27.5 miles per gallon. You'll find that most of the time money, distance goes on top. Time will go on the bottom most of the time. I even put that note in here. Here's the steps to finding the unit rate, and that means getting the denominator to be 1. Here's the steps. They have them here. I'm just putting them in words for you. Set the ratio up as a fraction. Here's the ratio, 24 miles to 4 hours. That's the ratio. We're going to set it up in fraction form. And again, I say when money's involved, it'll be on top. When time's involved, it'll be on the bottom. This also could say distance. Most of the time, distance is on top. So you set it up as a fraction. You want to divide both the numerator and denominator, 24 and 4, by the number on the bottom. That'd be 4. And you'll get your unit rate. It works every time. Okay, here we have an example where $2 for 8 juice boxes. We want to know the unit cost. How much is it for 1 box? Well, you put $2 over 8. Again, money pretty much always goes on top. You find out that 8's on the bottom. We want to get down to how much is it for 1 box, not 8 boxes. So we divide by 8. And we see that $2 divided by 8 equals 25 cents. So it'd be 25 cents per box. You find the unit rate for a 4-pack of mixed fruit. So again, a 4-pack for $2.12. Money almost always goes on top. So let's put it on top. What goes on the bottom? A 4-pack. I want the unit rate. I don't want to know what 4-packs cost. I want to know what 1-pack costs. And the answer is, hopefully you paused, you figured it out, 53 cents for 1 pack, per pack. Here's one where you got to figure out all 3. And again, the little squiggly equal sign even tells you they're estimating. It says round to the nearest cent. So we take a 40-pound bag divided by, $49 bag divided by 40, because if we set it up as a ratio, it would be $49 over 40 pounds. So it'd be 49 divided by 40. That's where you get the $1.23. 23.44 divided by 20 gives you $1.17. And again, approximate. That's what the little squiggly equal sign means. We're rounding. And 9.88 divided by 8 is $1.24. You're looking for the lowest price per pound to know what the best buy is. That'd be $1.17 per pound. Okay, next up. Oops. There we go. Next up, you practice. And again, I don't have to wait because you can go ahead and pause me, but which one of these is a better buy? Remember, the money goes on top. So I want to know how much it is per ounce. When I figure out how much it is per ounce and I get the best price, I can tell how much it is. Stores do this for you all the time. If you walk into Meijer, you might see that it's 12 ounces for $2.19. Then if you look the little right below, it'll tell you how much it is unit. It actually says unit rate. And what it's talking about is how much is it for 1 ounce. So you're doing that right now. So go ahead, pause me, do it. Okay, you're back. This would be 18 cents an ounce, 16 cents an ounce, 17 and 15. So your best buy would be Save A Lot. That is the last of it. Then what I would need you to do is go to, while I have you with me here, I'll take you to it. Go to your classwork and go to lesson 1-1 practice. There's 6 problems there, just what we did here. And get that into me as soon as you get it done. Thank you, and I'll be back for another lesson Wednesday.